When it comes to gun season, I think there are two major strategies that hunters most often employ. They either wait patiently on a stand, or they get together with some of their buddies or family members and make drives. But I've found there's one other strategy that can be very effective during gun season. It's something I've come to call the sneak and peek.
From the Pages of is brought to you by Nikon, the trusted name in optics.
Most deer hunters know that there are any number of strategies that can prove effective during gun season. But in my book, Proven Whitetail Tactics, I wrote about one that I found to be especially deadly. This strategy, which I call sneaking and peeking, involves moving stealthily through a targeted area. I prefer to call it a hyped-up version of still hunting. But even though the sneak and peek method entails covering quite a bit of ground in a relatively short period of time, you can't allow your movements to become random and careless. When sneaking, it's imperative you learn how to use both topographical and natural features to hide your movements. And when peeking, you've got to quickly figure out exactly which vantage points will allow you the best visibility. Anyone who is even slightly familiar with the way their hunting lands lay can quickly figure out an effective sneak and peek approach. It's a given that sneaking and peeking can be extremely effective in hilly or mountainous terrain. It's simply a matter of staying hidden behind the hills or mountains while moving, and then making your way to the top at strategic spots and peeking over to look for deer. Areas that are made up of mixed crop and forest land also are excellent places to employ the sneak and peek tactic. And it doesn't really matter whether the country is comprised of large tracts of timber that butt up to cropland or a series of smaller woodlots that are nearly surrounded by open fields. Your plan of attack remains the same. Basically, what you want to do is sneak along just inside the edge of the woods. Every so often, and from locations that allow you to remain somewhat hidden, slip to the very edge of the woodline and peek out into the open ground and check for signs of deer activity. Now, I'm sure some would argue that placing a stand near an open field is equally as effective as sneaking and peeking. I firmly disagree. Remember, if you've got a stand set up in a position to watch a certain field or fields, you're committed to watching that particular area only. This means you're actually watching a very small portion of the total amount of open land in that area. Sneaking and peeking affords you the opportunity to check for the presence of deer in a much larger part of that same area. The main reason I find the sneak and peek method so alluring is the fact that it allows me time off from my normal hunting mode. I spend literally hundreds of hours each fall sitting motionless on rather small and restrictive portable tree stands. A change of pace is very welcome indeed. To attain and then stay at a high level of success, trophy whitetail hunters must be adept at reading and understanding current situations. Then, to successfully deal with those situations, they must be experts at coming up with tactics that will prove effective. Certainly, sneaking and peeking is one such tactic. Remember, hunt hard, but always hunt safe.
From the Pages of has been brought to you by Nikon, the trusted name in optics.